Brier Island is located at the westernmost point of Nova Scotia, Canada, where the massive tides of the Bay of Fundy collide with the cold Atlantic Ocean. These forces have hammered the island with storms and churning waters since it was first formed by lava over 250 million years ago. The tides here can reach up to 28 feet and a staggering 50 feet in the other parts of the bay. They are fed by the gravitational pull of the moon. This lends a 1.6 mile wide and 4.7 mile long island as perhaps the best place in the Maritimes to document the forces and aura of the sea without having to leave land. A wave is not just a surge of water acting randomly. There are many forces involved in its formation, and this is key to anticipating how big the wave will be, its direction, and its apex. I find that filming in slow motion gives the viewer an opportunity to observe the waves closely, intimately, and to show that each wave is really alive with its surrounding waters. The island is home to around 200 permanent residents, most of whom fish lobster or are involved in seasonal tourism such as whale watching, accommodation, and dining. It has a number of excellent locations along the shoreline to safely document the surrounding sea with your cell phone or camera. Even then, you should never turn your back on the sea when close to shore, especially during rough weather. So keep your head on a swivel, be alert, and have all senses perked when you film. Most of the footage you see here in the first part of the film was taken at Western Light, which is one of two lighthouses on the island, the second being Northern Light. There is also Peter's Island Lighthouse on a small island in Little Passage. The number of lighthouses attest to the treacherous waters surrounding the island, where dozens of ships over the centuries have been wrecked on its shoals and ledges. Storm and wave photography are an artistic activity that has so far remained largely unknown on Canada's east coast. But it is not an activity for everyone. We can all stand in front of the sea, but few really understand how and why it behaves as it does. It can be extremely intimidating for the visitor or unexperienced photographer. So if you want to film rough water, you must indoctrinate yourself slowly and safely to a point where you are confident and understand the temperament and movement of the waves before approaching them too closely. If you are unfamiliar with the area or any body of water, I recommend that you film in the company of a friend or talk to the locals about the best areas to safely film waves. In this series, I had to lay down on my belly in the foam while holding the cell phone above the foam, keeping the horizon straight. This while watching that the incoming waves didn't overwhelm me. If I was not dressed properly in waterproof gear, I would have missed this drama and beauty. So be prepared for any kind of weather conditions by having a second or third change of clothing in the car. The sea mist is in every breath you take, ever present, even on sunny days. It is absorbed into one's body. You are drinking in and breathing in the sea with every breath. The vapor of the sea is everywhere, above, below, and surrounding you. The sea anoints you, the individual, in religious proportions, if you open yourself up to its secrets and its mannerisms.
Yeah, it sure is pretty.
This film is dedicated to those who adamantly love the sea, those who are drawn to its simplicity and its complexity, its unstoppable forces and its secrets. The shoals of Green Island and Gull Rock off of Pond Cove and the Meadows are incredibly treacherous. Here the winds can blow from 3 different directions at the same time. It can be a very, very lonely place. Peter's Island light heralds a sunrise, rising above Long Island and Freeport. Storm force waves pound the Seal Cove shoreline. When visiting or photographing from the shoreline's overhangs and ledges, you must be especially aware of severe gale-force wind conditions which can change at a moment's notice. They can literally blow you off the ledge and into the sea or rocks below. This wind is a nightmare for the filmmaker, as the ripping sound of it is almost impossible to filter out or suppress. This is extreme filming with extreme winds on extreme seas. Brier Island is off the beaten track, a place for the more adventurous visitor who wishes to avoid busy tourist destinations and crowds of people. It rejoices as one of the most unique and richest marine and coastal environments in the world. Truly the frontier of the sea, it is an immersion in the sea for the adventurer like myself. The clock does not dictate time on the island, the sea and tides do, and if you stay long enough and accept its indoctrination, it can steal your soul, or give you a soul.
Watch myself here. Look at that. Woo, baby. Oh, that's and just ran the gauntlet of that sea than I have today. I mean, it was just angry, and I'm so happy for it. It was friggin' incredible, just incredible, and I'm so thankful for it.
The island holds a different allure for each individual, from whale watching to identifying rare plants and birds. The magic, if you stay long enough, is to have it touch you, a special bond with the sea. For those who are touched by the sea, it never leaves you alone. It is always there. Even when I am 1,000 miles away from it, my eyes are closed and it is there, constant as a heartbeat. This series of waves were filmed from near the Canadian Coast Guard station at Northern Light. We are looking across Grand Passage where it meets the Bay of Fundy. I started photographing the island in 2015. I had heard about North Atlantic right whales frequenting the Bay Area and wanted to have a look for myself. From there on, I would take thousands of photos of whales, rare plants, etc. I also dabbled in video, mostly with my Nikon and my cell phone, so in the beginning it was mostly about photography. But my video interests increased, and before too long I was documenting with still photos and video at the same time. But now my video is my main interest, though not entirely. My boots were on the ground at Northern Light, trying to shelter from the freezing squalls and ice pellets while documenting this January storm. Northern and western lights are covered much more than other locations in this film. That is because those locations are where the best waves, miserable weather, and whitewater occur. But I try to cover as much of the island as possible when the winds blow and the gales scream. It can be like a marathon, driving across the island and shooting all day, or as long as the conditions prevail. You have to be in really good shape, mentally and physically, if you want to pursue this form of documentation. The island was once home to one of my heroes, Nova Scotian-born seaman and adventurer Joshua Slocum, who was the first person to sail solo around the world in the late 1890s. This accomplishment would have been comparable to that of Neil Armstrong setting his foot on the moon in 1969. These are just two of humanity's greatest accomplishments. That is the spirit of Brier Island for me, the frontier. It is at the end of one road, but the beginning of another, that leads to a new awareness of the sea and yourself, if you truly seek new worlds without leaving the planet.
Perfect. Thanks, bird.
Hauling in the lobster traps just off Western Light. Photographing from the shore of the lighthouse and fishing its waters gives me a clearer, three-dimensional look at what is going on with the tides and general wave movement. I hope that no one is feeling queasy with all the rolling waves and swells. I have seen the biggest, toughest men get seasick and curl up in a fetal position on the deck of the boat, helpless and moaning. Seasickness chooses any victim. I just hope you aren't one of them. A fog bow appears on the Bay of Fundy while heading out to whale watch. Humpback whales visit our boat as I lower a GoPro video camera below the waterline. Gray seals are found all along the shoreline of the island. They can be very curious and aggressive, with the males weighing upwards of 800 pounds. So you wouldn't want to get too close or try to be their friend. Sorry, Sir Paul. Waves at Big Cove. The basalt cliffs of Greenhead in St. Mary's Bay. Peter's Light at Little Passage.
Yummy. This is birdwatcher food, at least my birdwatcher food.
Hurricane Dorian slammed into Nova Scotia on September 7, 2019, bringing with it severe winds, destructive storm surge, and pounding waves. It was extremely difficult to document, as it presented a very real risk of serious injury. But it was a deafening scream of the wind and the ground thundering from the waves crashing against the rocks that made it especially intimidating. Scataway Cove in the Grand Passage gets hammered by waves and tidal surge. These are the kind of days I love on Brier. The waves are pounding, throwing up the continuous shower of sea spray that coats your lips, burns your eyes, and glues the whole incredible scene together. The wind whines its deafening song of the sea, and I couldn't be any happier. There is nowhere on this planet that I would rather be. I now realize that this isn't a movie about waves. It is a movie about one man's love of the sea. This latest generation of island children may be the last to fish the seas here as the wild fish stocks disappear. Greed and bad governance are at the root of this, as they always have been. This is why I present you with the Seas of Brier Island as a wake-up call for Canada to step forward and take on more responsibility for this world-class, though vulnerable, environmentally unique national treasure. Thank you.